Coming to you live from my apartment, it's Rob Has a Podcast. And now here's the guy who's taking just a quick break from voting for Taylor for AFP to host a podcast. I'm Rob Cesternino. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Rob Has a Podcast, final Thursday of the season. We are but 4 days away from the finale of Big Brother 24. We are down to the final three, and we have one last Thursday eviction to talk about as Britney left the house. Here with me to talk about it all, joining us, of course, you can catch him every week talking about the wild world of wrestling on the Wrestling RHAP, and of course, just is closing out another season of Pod Friends. It's the great Matt Scott. Matt, how are you?
Yes, I'm good. Just drinking my water, minding my business, refreshing cbs.com/bbvote. Continually voting for Taylor. I'm creating Gmail addresses just to register my votes in real time. So if I seem a little distracted, that's what I'm up to.
Is that what you have to do? You have to create new email addresses?
I mean, look, that's what I'm doing. I'm making sure that Taylor gets the win and gets her money.
Okay. All right. Well, Matt, great to have you here for the final Thursday of the season. Back with us, of course, fresh off of talking about the Love is Blind reunion show. It's Frail Mary Kwiatkowski. Mary, how are you?
The honeymoon may be over, but we're just getting started talking about the final three here.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were talking about Love is Blind.
Oh, yeah. The honeymoons are all over on Love is Blind season 2.
Yes.
It works for both. It works for both. Love is dead, but Big Brother is still happening.
Don't even get started with Joseph. Okay, we'll talk about that from the jury house. And of course, back with us, of course, normally she's talking about hot dummies. Here to talk about the Big Brother 24 contestants. It's Kirsten MacInnis. Kirsten, how are you?
Rob, I'm great. I actually thought that Mary and I would have to save our comments on this episode for your Instagram page. So I'm just excited that we get to actually talk on the podcast.
Yes. Okay. We're going to do everything here on the podcast. You know, I am so excited here tonight because we are so close that I have seen through another Big Brother season that it's just like, it's really incredible to have seen this Big Brother season, like every step of the way. And now I've almost reached its conclusion. So it's just, really incredible when you think about it, all of the steps I've taken to get to this point. So,
I mean, you did take Sundays off this season, Rob. So you didn't really watch the whole season.
That's a very condescending comment. How could you say that to me?
I didn't mean it that way. I just, factually,
I'm sorry.
Sundays.
This isn't working out. I'm sorry.
Kirsten, at the beginning of the season, there were comments about how you were a little cold-hearted. And I mean, I feel like that's really showing itself right now. And maybe you need to think about that.
Some of the things I read in the YouTube comments, I think that might have been, maybe they had a point.
YouTube comments.
I didn't mean for it to come across as disrespectful. I just, I just thought I was being funny. I'm so sorry. I really didn't mean to make you feel like this, Rob.
Okay.
So
all right.
sorry.
Well, this is a life lesson, I think, for you. So you learn from this, please. Okay.
Oh my God.
Awkward.
Okay. All right. A lot to unpack from the episode here tonight, where we saw the breakup heard around the Big Brother world as Monte is no more. I want to invite people also to give us their questions. We'll take those later on in the show. You can just post those in the chat. Taryn is not with us tonight. He is busy getting ready for another deep dive in the morning, as he brought you through all of Taylor's game this morning on the live feed update. Tomorrow morning, Taryn will be live at 11 a.m. to take you through everything from Monty's game, and then he will have one more coming up on Saturday going through Turner's game. Busy day for me, as well as this was a first for Rob's podcast, as I have officially now been a part of a recap of an Amazing Race episode, a Survivor episode, and a Big Brother episode all in one day, plus 2 exit interviews all up at Rob as a website. BB24.com. So it's a busy season.
It's a big day for you.
Yeah. Yes. The triple crown of reality TV today. Okay. But I guess let's quickly go through our headlines. Britney is out of the house to the surprise of nobody. Any thoughts on Britney's very ho-hum eviction tonight?
I mean, she tried to make a good pitch to stay. She kept fighting. So, I mean, that's better than just laying down to die, I guess.
And everything she was saying in her pitch to Monte was pretty factual and pretty true. It's just that she was avoiding the part of, I'm definitely not going to take you to the final two if I win. And I think Monte at this point feels pretty comfortable in either Taylor or Turner taking him if he gets to that point.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing where it's like you're saying a lot that makes sense, but you're ignoring the thing that's just right there in front of him that no one can ignore, and you're doing it with the tone of voice that's all over the place, and it's just like it's not that convincing, but we get it. And I like for a hypnotist, I expected more.
Well, you can only hypnotize the willing, first of all, Matthew. What I did love was getting out there and talking to Julie and being like, well, but I would have smoked him in the rest of these competitions. When, I mean, part one is always endurance, and part two is normally days mixed with, like, lately there's been a lot of, like, rock climbing and extremely physical aspects. Like, would you, Britney?
But you would think that if I told you that there was going to be a hypnotherapist in the house, that you would think that not that they're like hypnotizing people, but you would think that they would have maybe like a little bit of like a gift when it came to, all right, let me like maybe, have a somewhat of like a power of persuasion, where you would think that maybe that there would be like a lot of like, okay, let's just have a conversation about things and really like want to slow it down and really just like talk things through. But that really was never Britney like in the game. And, I feel like that was like almost the antithesis of what Britney is in a lot of these conversations.
Well, so she lied about her job, so she couldn't rest on
but
that,
not to us,
right?
Yeah.
Well, no, but like, I think a lot of, obviously therapists, they have a lot of skills, training, and abilities, and they're good at what they do. But I do think that a big part of that also comes from when someone goes to see a therapist, they are putting a lot of trust and belief in the credentials. And I think that probably does a lot of the work, even if someone maybe isn't socially gifted, they can at least rely on, well, the person I'm talking to knows that I know what I'm talking about and that I can help them, improve their life. But without that information, I feel like that put Britney at a big disadvantage.
Yeah, just drag her, Robin Kirsten. I mean, honestly, like, this is Big Brother. If this were Survivor and we had a hypnotherapist cast, like, maybe I'd be like, okay, they have a chance. She was cast on Big Brother for a reason. We have seen life coaches, we've seen therapy. It doesn't matter. It's Big Brother, and that's why she's there. She's there because of the modulation in her voice, not because of her ability to actually win.
And to be fair to Britney and her profession, like the times when she did, especially with like Alyssa, take Alyssa aside and give her like a meditation session, a guided meditation. And when Alyssa went into those sessions, like knowing that was what's happening, they did connect really well. And she had a really enjoyable time when that was happening. But that was, like Kirsten saying, going into a room, understanding the process and what they're getting into. And she did well with that. I think the problem is that Britney also didn't stay in like therapist mode the whole time. She went kind of in like throw anything at the wall mode for the last few weeks trying to save Michael. And so it's kind of hard to roll that back and be like, no, I'm the calm one.
I mean, I think like the minute you realize that your therapist has a therapist is a big moment for anyone who goes to therapy. And Britney's just one more example of that, unfortunately, not everyone is just perfect all the time.
Okay. Well, Britney is out, and we did not have nearly as much excitement as we did at the Final Four of last season, when it was Kylan who was evicted at the Final Four, which was a A very memorable moment. Really, almost nothing memorable from Britney's eviction here tonight, but it does set up this final three, as we will see Taylor and Turner and Monte head into the final three. Not before tomorrow night, when they will look back and reminisce on their game, and we will be live with a recap of the recap at 9:15 p.m. Eastern time.
Yes, can't wait for that. The
Dream.
favorite episode ever.
Yeah, I'll
Love
totally
it.
be watching live on CBS
Mhm,
tomorrow night.
Yep.
Now, I thought this was a first where then Taylor got the bottle of champagne, and Taylor went like, they just clinched the division. Just like to open up the champagne, popped it open in the house. Like, who's on mop up duty after that?
I mean, it's the thing where like you see the meme where it's like Friday and they throw the papers, and then it's like Monday and you're bent over picking them up. She'll be mopping later tonight. It's fine.
Yeah, like when sports teams do this, like they put plastic over everything. Like champagne is very sticky.
I wish I had the confidence to even pop champagne without
Right.
being like, okay, I'm gonna do no one be over there. All right. Oh, what about that? Like that's more how I pop it. So
It has like just the most gentle little, and you're like,
yeah.
I mean, they only have a few days left. Like that's the thing. They can deal
The
with
ants are going to be
stickiness.
everywhere,
Leave it
Matt.
for
That's
the
it.
ants.
I don't want
They
it.
already
But
are. Let's be real.
get out of the house before the ants attack is the name of the game.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll see. Maybe there'll be a follow-up on that coming up on the recap of the recap. But we will be live for that podcast, and then we will be live after the finale Sunday night. I believe that will be a 10:15 start time for us, barring any sort of delays from NFL football on CBS. So we will keep you posted with that. But I really think that probably the most exciting things that happened in this episode were the jury segment, which we'll get to. And then also we had the Monte and Taylor breakup, and we got Kirsten headphone gate.
Just what I wanted to talk about twice this week.
You're back. You're the expert. You did the
I'm
live
back,
feed update that day.
Yeah, so Monty overreacting to small incidences was like basically the first half of this episode.
Here's what I don't get with the headphone gate. Like,
Okay.
why was this a thing? Okay, so here's Monty and like him and Taylor like get together, and like seemingly like this was not like a game move, but I don't know. There was just like some like biological need that this had, and then it was just like hey, you know what? I got to get out of this. I need to pull the ripcord here.
I mean, based on everything we know about Monty so far, he likes, and he said this to Taylor, basically, he likes when she owes him and is at a disadvantage and is not standing in her power. And so the idea of her, being confident in the HOH room and saying that other people are being disrespectful really bothers him. And I think he needed just literally any excuse to get upset with Taylor, because he will take any perceived slight as the worst thing that's ever happened to him in his entire life.
Because is it possible that Monty is going to double fumble the bag here in this home stretch, where could he potentially not only lose the game to Taylor, but also lose Taylor?
I can only hope.
Yeah.
I have to believe that when Taylor gets out of the house and sees not only the support she has, but the support she has against people like Monty and the things they've said and done to her, that she will see the light and not feel the need to be with him. And
no,
I'm not.
I wasn't implying like that. Okay, they're going to get back together, but I feel like that there was an opening, right, for like that this could have been something.
I mean, Taylor has been thirsty all season long.
Mhm.
And so at a point where there's very few people left, I feel like it was only natural if there's a mutual attraction that maybe something would be done about that. But like Monte and Taylor are fundamentally incompatible, and they have had many conversations about like what they want from relationships over the season, and it just doesn't match up. So I don't think there was ever really a shot of this being a long-term thing. Like maybe
Mhm.
like friends with benefits, but like without the friends part.
From pretty much
Yeah.
the beginning of when this started happening too, like Taylor has been pretty honest with the viewers about like, yeah, I find Monty attractive, I'm having fun, but she's also always stated like this is not going to be in the way of me winning. And also she had mentioned at times like if she had the opportunity, she would have still taken Britney to the end if that was the place she was in. She never felt like this was going to be something where she like wanted to be, she was so conscious. She mentioned in the episode about like not wanting to be the girl who just chose a guy over her game. Like she's always said like, oh, wouldn't it be kind of fun if I could also cut Monty if that opportunity had been there. So yeah, I think she's aware of her power over the situation, which does make it better. Like Taylor, all these people, they're adults. They can hang out with and do whatever they want with any of them. It's more I hate to see it, and we've seen it on Big Brother before, where someone gets like basically brainwashed and gaslit on the show by their romantic partner, and that does influence their game. I'm glad that we're so late into the season where I really don't think that that's going to change Taylor's narrative. If anything, it just has moments like tonight that are so like cringy and also just really frustrating. And when you really think about it, like there's so many things that Monty did in the part we saw in the episode, and the things that people like Kirsten and Maggie have talked about over the last couple weeks that they're hard to explain why they're so I don't know like the words to use, but like it's hard to explain why they're so worrying that people like think like this and talk like this. And like what I was trying to explain to my mom when we were watching it was like the hardest part is that sometimes you can have people like Monty who say these things and they're not, you almost want them to be like being manipulative on purpose, but like a lot of times they feel like they're really in the right with what they're saying, and that he believes that he's justified in the comments, and that's what's the hardest thing to watch.
Yeah, and the thing that like jumps out to me, because like watching this situation, especially like as a black man, I get it. Like having your reliability to whoever's in your life is a big deal. But he like hurt people, and that's what we're seeing with Monty, and he's definitely stepping over the line and hitting below the belt. And so like I mean, I think Taylor's on top of it. I think she knows what she's doing. And I think that she has like a clear head. She realizes that this is the Big Brother house. This is her best option right now. But I mean, she's gonna kick Monty to the curb. Like,
Yeah.
And another thing is, sure, headphone gate, I get it, but do not mess with Beyonce. Do not take her. I'm just saying, like, Taylor has the right to be heated. Taylor has the right to have her own renaissance outside of this house. And you have to respect the queen, Monty. Don't take Beyonce and then disrespect Taylor. That just won't work out here.
Monty said, I'm going to listen to my Beyonce.
No. It was never his Beyonce.
Mhm.
It is Taylor's Beyonce. And that's literally why Beyonce released her music this summer, just for Taylor. And we love her for that.
And
Mhm.
Taylor needs to release this man, release this job.
He has a job.
I just thought that he came across as like so fragile over that. She said that he hasn't been in around his goddaughter for a year and took the headphones off him while he was sleeping.
And it's like it's like things that are sure annoying, like that could annoy you in a moment, but they're not things worth stewing over all day and then being rude about, right? Like it's the thing where you go, oh, I wish you hadn't done that. And like she apologized in the moment. Oh, I didn't mean to take the sunglasses. I'm sorry. Go back to sleep. And that should be enough of an apology for something that small. But no. He has to stew all day. He has to go remove his toiletry bag from the bathroom because he is moving out because they're done.
But also, just like from a gameplay perspective, like why is he doing this? Like, even if like he's in the diary room, like, oh my god, I've had it with Taylor, I can't take it with Taylor. Like, shouldn't he be continuing, even if it is a facade for the next 10 days in case she wins the final 2 HOH?
Rob, we're talking about Monte here, and to borrow from Beyonce, he has a big ego. He is a small man, but he has a big ego, and that's where it's coming from. And it's like it shows the lack of gameplay that he has. That he's deferring to his ego and offended by facts. First of all, like he's been in the house for almost 3 months, not quite 3 months, but almost 3. Like, come on, like just go with it. But it's the ego getting in the way.
Well, and so much of this season has been defined by people talking absolutely wild about Taylor. So why not continue to do that now when it's something that's worked for a majority of the season?
Yeah, it says a lot that's right where he went when he was hurt, just to take that shot at her. Like,
right.
God, like I would be done. I would be done immediately with him in that moment. But like Taylor, I guess, had a relatively level head for what was a pretty horrible thing for him to do and say and kind of pull upon.
And bottom line is, Monte thinks he can beat Taylor still in the end. He thinks that he's not afraid of going to the end with her, and he's telling her that he still wants that he would take her as well, and I guess he believes that she would take him. So there's that element of it. There's the ego element. Also, if you're listening to this, but you haven't gone and listened to some of the earlier conversations about these same scenes from the feeds, there's so much more that Monte was also saying that had to do with Taylor, that he needed Taylor to be vulnerable around him, and that was the real her. And I've been around you for 70 something days. I think I know the real you, Taylor, and the side that you hide. And yeah, it's language like that just proves that Monte thinks that he's figured her out and that he can, lead her in the direction that he wants for both the relationship and in the game.
Yeah.
So they had a conversation, and we saw Monte do something that we talked 2 weeks ago tonight during the double eviction. We talked about that Terrence left the house and wanted to go pull a Daniel. And we saw Monte also to bring back Daniel and cite that, hey, remember way back when Daniel said that you were doing some things that were really, rubbing people the wrong way. That's maybe something you should think about.
Yeah,
this is a good example of that.
I was gonna say these men are broken. We knew it from week 1. It's continuing on, and clearly Monte has no respect for Taylor. So I mean, I think in my mind, it's horrible to watch this treatment for Taylor, but it's nice to have the reminder that he sucks so much.
Well, and Monte keeps going back to like, oh, well, you just seem so cold, like when we're not in bed together, like, oh, you are such a cold woman. And it's like,
not the heat of the bear.
Rob, oh my God. But like the thing is first of all, Taylor is not a cold person. I think there's been a lot of times where Taylor didn't get the opportunity to even express her true personality because people were being dicks to her. But even if she were, nobody owes being warm to you. Like being warm is not the same as being a good person or being kind or having good intentions. That doesn't mean anything. Someone can seem cold and be the most caring, loving person you've ever met. Nobody owes you warm.
Yeah, if people are wondering why particularly women get upset when someone says you should smile more, it's because it's this same energy. It leads to the same, you need to be pleasant around me all the time. Also, Taylor, if anything, is sarcastic, which is not the same as being cold. It's a sense of humor thing. And you may not, like, plenty of people do not vibe with my sense of humor. That's okay. It does not mean I'm a cold person. You could be a game bot. And also, like, Kirsten, you've said this many times, Monte likes to talk about how he likes the strong Black women. And then doesn't like it when he sees one in front of him.
Yeah, and it's just like a pattern of disrespect that Black women face, which might be one of the reasons we've never seen in a regular season of Big Brother a Black woman actually win the game. And I mean, hopefully that's different this season. We'll see, but it's just it's rough, and I think it says a lot about Monte that she's cold, and yet he doesn't have a problem getting in bed with her and her being warmer with him. So what's that about? Like
he's breadcrumbing her. Like, it's so annoying. Ugh.
Gross.
I'd like to talk about the jury house. Was there anything else about the Taylor and Monte segment tonight, or should we talk about the jury? Because I think it's important to bring this in next.
Just for the people that maybe don't listen to the live feed updates, I think Maggie said it best on Tuesday this week when she said every time Monte opens his mouth, this is what she hears.
Mm-hmm.
It's all I hear too.
All right. Well, it's interesting because I really felt like coming into this week where, I felt really strongly about Taylor's chances in the final two. Like, I felt like very strongly, okay, Taylor is going to beat Monte no matter what. I have to say that I have a little bit of pause after watching the jury segment tonight, where I felt like that the jury, I thought like I saw a lot of people seemingly really high on Monte in the jury, but let's talk that through, because then also Alyssa comes in and then drops a bombshell, which also could potentially change things up. We get Terrence first at the jury house. We get the guys that are coming in from the double eviction, and so DJ Showtime is here to bring the party to the jury house. And DJ Showtime says that Julie likes the evictions like he likes his drinks. Make it a double.
So funny and clever. Oh my God.
What a great dad joke. We love it. We love to see it.
Yeah. Okay. And then so Michael is there too. And then we get the whole story about Michael's HOH that Jasmine asked, did you know that did he know he was the backdoor target? He says, yes, he does know. Turner does not have a good poker face. Jasmine says, yes, and I know it was him that ate the muffin.
Ooh, finally, the thrilling conclusion to the true crime saga we've all been curious about all season long.
Mm-hmm.
They could have cut that. Like, just use that time for something else, anything else.
They could have cut so much from this episode, and we could have maybe gotten the full cookout segment. Wouldn't that have been nice? But no, we have to hear every single thought that comes through Jasmine's head.
This was the first episode in 5 days, also, by the way.
I can appreciate a person who knows that they have one bit and will just run it into the ground.
Yep. We really got to see a lot of like everybody walking out of the house, that they didn't talk. The house guys were so impressed when Michael said, I have one thing to say to you, and then said nothing.
He invented comedy.
Classic.
Yeah. And Terrence's response to that, like, what? He got up and congratulated. He's like, yeah, do that. Like, sir, you are a grown man. You are an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Just think, in like 5 days, Terrence could be back in a Burger King filming YouTubes for us all to enjoy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's very, very possible. Could be a Wendy's even. Yeah. All right. We see, Joseph is pumped up. He even talks about Mojo as we see Monte winning competition. Terrence is also feeling good about Monte. One thing I thought was super interesting was that we saw where Michael says Turner gave him a goodbye message and didn't take credit for getting him out of the house. Now, Michael went out in the second part of a double eviction. Did we know that the people that go out in the double eviction get goodbye messages?
I do think that we knew that. I think that they get filmed and then they get to see them at the jury house. It's just not as immediate. I'm pretty sure that I already knew that.
Yeah, sometimes I think they've said they see him in in the sequester when they do the exit interviews in that sort of time frame.
Mhm.
Yeah, and this was one which we saw a clip of the exit interview again where Turner decides to do the whole if you went home, this was totally not what I wanted. I didn't know the veto was going to be used, which was actually true. He didn't originally plan for the veto to be used until Monty
Mhm.
pushed it. So, which looks almost worse for Turner that he's not even
Yeah.
taking the
Yeah.
time to be like,
yeah.
yeah, I made this happen. I don't know when people are going to learn to own their game. Like, I feel like that's been a pretty common thing that needs to happen.
I really think Turner was probably just being honest in that moment. Like, he didn't know the veto was going to be used, and he didn't necessarily super want it to be used. Like, Monty had been thinking about a move against Michael that whole week and had
Yeah.
also thought about going back on it out of concern that the women were working together. And Taylor helped convince Monty that they should, in fact, target Michael.
But I mean, I do think he knew he may not have really wanted that to happen, but I mean, I'm sure like if I remember correctly, like Monty said, like, hey, we're doing the veto, we're putting up Michael, and I think Turner was like, all right, is everybody cool with that? Is everybody want to do it? I mean, he's the one that had to put Michael on the block, so I think he knew it may not have been his first choice of what to do in that spot, but you know, he did know it was coming. It's just weird to me on the double eviction that the people like normally get to say, hey, if you're seeing this, I don't know what happened. It's like, yeah, earlier tonight, when you got voted out of the house, on my HOH, I just want to apologize about that. Like, it's weird that it happened after
Yeah.
they have been voted out.
That's a good point.
There's a lot of weird stuff in the Big Brother house. I'm like,
So
whatever.
much
I'll
weird
just go
stuff.
with it. Most like half the time in the DRs, I'm like, what are you saying? Who's telling you to say what you're saying? Who's telling you to put? So I'll go with it. I believe it. Whatever.
I also just like Turner, I feel like is so fried that how could you trust
Oh.
anything he says?
That's very fair.
See, that's where you'd think he's being especially honest, and so
Yeah. Okay. Alyssa shows up. Alyssa is upset. She lost one of the games by only 9 seconds. And she was so close. Britney won the veto. And Alyssa reveals that there was the gentleman's agreement. Uh-oh.
Yeah. She, you can tell. I mean, her eyes were tearing up. She's still upset about the Turner betrayal, and I think she recognizes that it was not good for his game to vote her out, and then also the way that he put her on the jury is not great. So I don't see her turning around and voting for him in the end unless something major changes. But yeah, but that's not the most important piece of news that Taylor brings. I mean,
right.
Alyssa brings over here.
Alyssa.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Alyssa I mean, no, I think the question, Rob, is was this calculated or was this accidental slip?
I think that Alyssa is an accidental slip kind of gal, and not a calculated kind of gal.
I mean, she has been all season, like, because even then she said, oh, Taylor stayed in the HOH room for 3 nights. Everyone freaks out. You see the realization in her eyes of like, oh shoot. And then someone goes, what? I think it was Jasmine. She goes, nothing. Everyone's like, oh no, we heard it. Like,
yeah.
let's evaluate.
Joseph was just like shook. He was shooketh. Like his pecs were quivering in the moment. He almost didn't know what to say. It was a lot.
Okay.
A lot taken for him. I feel like that's a way to find out. Yeah.
I thought we had all collectively like agreed to ourselves that like Joseph and Taylor was never actually a thing, and that they didn't, they had opportunities, but nothing happened. And now it's like, wait a second, Joseph looked upset.
First of all, we did not collectively make that agreement, Mary. I don't know what circles you are running in, but that is not where I live. I mean, I think, sure, like it never really worked out in the house, but there were so many situations of like, Joseph saying, "Oh, I want to teach you how to trust a man again," or like, "Oh, I see you like are looking at the food I'm eating. Take a bite." Like, it was just all of those little moments that
nice.
make us ship Joseph and Taylor. And then like when he got evicted, he was so sad, and he was
He
like,
didn't get to say goodbye to her.
I hope Taylor calls me. Like after the show, he's been so pro Taylor in all of the jury segments. And I feel like he's just been getting nothing but bad news the whole time he's been a jury.
Well, but here is the question. Okay. If we get to finale night and we see Taylor and Monte in the final 2 chairs, who is Joseph upset with? Is he upset with Taylor, or is he upset with his friend Monte, one half of Mojo?
Probably Taylor, but that's kind of been the theme of the season, of course. And so, like the other thing is, you have to imagine Joseph's being asked, like, do you see yourself being with Taylor after the season? Like, they're just asking him about it, and maybe he's thinking, even in the jury house, like, oh, this could be a thing. And so his feelings could build even beyond what we saw. And so, maybe, like, I don't know. I just imagine that they're kind of creating this narrative in his head of what's happening, when in reality, like, there wasn't that much there. Not as much as with Monte.
I mean, I feel like just because of the society we live in, he's probably been conditioned to blame Taylor in this situation. That doesn't necessarily mean that he will, and I hope that he doesn't, but he might. I don't know.
I don't know. I have this feeling. I said it on the roundtable last week. I'm keeping hope alive. I feel like Monte's got 2 votes in the end, and I think everyone else is going Taylor. I feel like it's in the cards, I think people, they know what's best in their hearts, and they're gonna do it. And I think when it comes to Joseph, that if the roles were reversed and Monte was the one voting, I think we know who he would be voting for in this scenario. But I think I just have a little belief. I have a belief in that it's the sad, but I'm still gonna vote for you, darling. And that's what I want.
I have faith in Taylor's karma. Okay, it's just I believe that it exists. I believe that it is real, and I think that they try to fool us with these jury segments every single year, and
they're hiding it.
I think they're hiding it.
I think the other piece of it too, like, they were so against her earlier in the season, just to like come out and be kind of like to turn the tide on that. That's kind of a hard thing to do. They're saying that they were wrong. They're admitting how wrong they were. I want to believe. I want to believe.
The last jury segment was so pro Taylor for no reason. Like, and at a time when she wasn't doing anything like in particular. And now that she's made it this far, I'm sure those same comments were being made, and the producers were like, we got to hide this. Otherwise it's going to be way too obvious.
Yeah.
So I really think that when we get to the round table, when we get to, and I guess we'll probably see that on the Sunday night finale, that I think that's when they're going to really start to talk through, okay, what was the story of this season? What was Taylor's story? And I think in that group setting, and I also think that Britney is going to be an advocate for Taylor, like when she gets there. And when you try to tell the story of the season, like from Monte, I mean, Monte, I guess, was fine, but I think it's kind of hard to tell like a cohesive, like short story of what Monte did this season. And Taylor just has such a clear narrative about what her journey looks like. And I really do think that it will start to crystallize when they start to talk it through with everybody.
Yeah. And, for the people in the chat or listening, wondering like, what has Taylor really done? Hasn't she just kind of, gotten lucky and whatever? First off, listen to the 2-hour Taylor breakdown by Taryn from this morning. He breaks down everything from her game. And there's a lot of nuggets in there that I think are actually important. But more importantly, it's a combination of what Rob is saying of the story of the season, which isn't always what people vote for. But I think that will be such a big factor. I think the fact that almost all of the exit interviews have asked questions about Taylor. The fact that I think these players know that that's where the story is, which sometimes I would be upset with, but the fact that she had such a rough start so against her for no reason, and that she's been able to stay positive and to stay in the game throughout that and be a hand in her own safety. She's not the most strategic person this season. She's not the person who's been running the game the whole time. But no one in this final three is. No one in this final three was the best at competitions or the most strategic or was running the game the whole time. They all were in the same alliance and had similar hands in different, elements that they brought to the table and different ways that they got there. And I think that when you weigh all of those things and then also have this great story that Taylor has, I mean, go back to week 1 when almost everyone watching was like, well, this season's over. This is horrible. No one likes this. Compared to where we are now, it's really hard to overlook that. And I know that's us from the outside, but I just somehow feel like the people on the jury can also see that, at least in pieces.
Well, yeah, and I think the other piece too that jumps out to me is like the mission, like the power of the mission. And we kind of saw, like we saw that communicate, at least to us as an audience, in the loved one segment that we got, where it's like Taylor has a clear mission in terms of representation. And like for the others, it's like, I don't want to let my dad down. I don't want to let my husband down, whatever it might be. And then just like the power of that and people being able to see that and being aware of that, I think will work in her favor. At least we all want to work in her favor, but I think people realize the weight of that also, which is something that works for her, and it's genuine.
100%. And there's also, if there's one thing people love, it's being right. And a few people on the jury have said, well, if we don't take out Taylor now, she's going to go to the end and win. If this doesn't happen, she's going to win. And so that also can factor into it. And more than anything, Taylor is an amazing public speaker. Anytime she's had to make a speech, it has been compelling, it has been interesting, and it has had a clear like thesis statement, beginning, middle, and end. So I have every faith in her to absolutely destroy final jury questioning and her final statement as well.
Yeah. I still think she has it if she gets there. I am a little also concerned about her getting to the final two. How are we feeling at this hour about Monte taking her if he wins the final 3 HOH? 50-50?
I still feel pretty good about him taking her because I think that the way he is perceived matters a lot to him. And he's talked a lot about how he would love to go to the end with a strong Black woman, and even if he loses, it would be okay. Of course, he doesn't think that he would lose. He thinks that he would win. So I think he'll still take her, but any small thing could happen and then he could change his mind.
Okay. The other big thing that we saw in the episode tonight was we saw basically Julie wrapped it up with the house guests at 9:38. It was like, all right, good night, everybody. And then we're gonna have a segment with the cookout.
Yes,
yay!
Cookout.
Yes. I don't think we've ever brought back this many people for a segment before in the history of the show.
Well, an alliance of 6 has never made it to the final 6 before the cookout either. So
yeah, kind of legendary. And you know what? I think it's interesting that they tried to squeeze them all into the segment. We heard from the most important people first: Hannah, Azza, Tiffany, and then there were the others too. They were there, but I think I love how much we were able to kind of get the importance of Taylor underscored. It was kind of weird though to hear, I don't know, the wishy-washiness of some of the guys between Turner and Taylor.
I think that there was some coaching before that segment. I think especially and specifically when they asked Tiffany about Kyle, I think that Tiffany had a very thin needle to thread there of what she was allowed to actually say. Because I mean, we've heard all the members of the Cookout be a lot more definitive about Kyle on social media. So I think that there was they were told what they are and are not allowed to say, I think. And I do think that impacted some of the answers.
Yeah, which, by the way, why would you go follow Julie on Instagram to hear what they say? Just follow them on Twitter. That's all. I don't want everything else that's gonna come with that. I don't need. I mean, the different shows, the 101, all of that. I'm good. I follow who I need to follow. We're good.
I mean, if one thing's gonna make me go to Julie's Instagram, it's to hear from the women of the Cookout, but I will certainly not be following.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Turner got some love from some members of the Cookout also tonight.
Choices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was clearly the hey, make sure we talk about everybody who's left in the house and try to spin it where it seems like we might be rooting for all of them.
Yeah. Derek F said that Turner is stirring up the house.
He did.
I mean, he did eat the muffin.
Yeah.
What has Turner done to stir up the house?
He ate the muffin.
Recently.
I mean,
recently.
he cleaned up his room that time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
that's like the
shook
opposite of
things up.
stirring it up, though.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess like his normal state would be stirring it up.
Yeah.
He has like really edgy hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Edgy
rooting
or
for
is it bad?
I mean,
Let's be
yes.
honest here.
I mean,
He's-
both.
he's rooting for what was it? Domestic spats? Is that what he said?
Oh, he
Domestic
said,
strife.
Yeah, who doesn't love and I mean, like, I understand why that would be his perspective, you know, in the final four with the couple, but like, what a weird way to put it.
Yeah. Xavier would like to go and smack Turner and Monty in the back of the head.
He never lied.
Yes. It was really so funny when Julie's all right, Kylan. All right, quickly, Kylan. Okay. Who is your front runner? And Kylan says Taylor and Turner.
I thought it was very interesting also that she told X that he had to be quick as well on his winner pick. I was like you could just have time for this. You could have just simply planned better and we could have heard all of their winner picks.
Yeah. I mean, it was like Kylan is not the person you should go to on live TV for a quick or clear answer at all. So that interesting there.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that there was I think they had like a hole to fill here with like nothing going on. So went to the Cookout here. I wonder if this would have been better in the finale.
My question is that this has been a thing that they've been hyping up for at least a few episodes prior to this. I want to know what is the Venn diagram of people out there who are excited to hear from the Cookout who don't also follow the Cookout on all their social media where they could hear more from them all the time that needed to wait until this segment.
I think there's a lot of people like that millions of people watch the show. Like none of them have like millions of followers. So
like I like that the Cookout got to come back and talk, and I thought it was really cool to have the whole alliance. But if you're going to do that, have an actual segment of it, not just 5 minutes of them asking scripted questions.
It felt weird. But Rob, so if this had been in the finale, what would have been in this episode then?
I don't know. Honestly, I kind of feel like that in the past when they've done stuff like this, like I remember like, okay, we're catching up with the brigade. But it wasn't like on stage. It was kind of like, okay, they were like at like a bar or something. And then it's sort of like a pre-recorded segment. I just wonder if that might have been just a little bit tighter and, we could have like, had a little bit more fun with it.
I mean, to Mary's point, though, I mean, like, I think that if you are someone who's going to go to Julie's Instagram to watch what they have to say, you probably do follow them on social media, right? I would imagine, but I don't know.
Julie fishing for followers. She wants to become an influencer.
Yeah.
Let's keep an eye on that bump.
She was doing a TikTok dance last week. Yeah. But I can't even follow like what they promoted, like so many different things. Like, okay, and then tomorrow go watch CBS morning show and I'll talk to Britney and go to my Instagram. It's like, kid, the show's on 3 nights a week and you just put the stuff on the show.
It was so weird. It was like, we're gonna put a preview of my conversation with Britney on the morning show, but then the whole thing will be on the Big Brother official Instagram. But then if you want to hear what these past contestants have to say, go to my personal Instagram and also like say a riddle, do a dance, turn around.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know, but I mean, we have to talk about Princess Cruise Line because that was important to
wow.
It's the real Love Boat.
The real Love Boat is...
I have a serious question.
Yes?
Yeah.
Is a boat kind of a man-made island? Just curious.
Wow. That's deep. Honestly, do you have to go on the boat if you win, or could you just take the cash prize instead?
You have to go on a cruise. You have no choice.
Yeah, I mean that if Taylor is America's favorite player, I mean, what a scam this is from Princess Cruise Lines to get, okay, the most popular Big Brother contestant, we're getting her for free on our Princess Cruises. Brilliant.
Haven't there been like Big Brother cruises that didn't end up happening before? I feel like that's a thing. I think there's been some that have happened as well.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Mhm.
I
do
just you
love-
couldn't make me go on a cruise.
I love cruises, and I did love my Princess Cruise the best. So
Oh.
I will say that was great.
Wow.
Mhm.
I have so many
my
questions.
ears did perk up. I will not I will not be actively seeking out Julie's Instagram, but I was like, ooh, Princess
Well,
Cruises.
That means that the next America's Favorite House Guest is going to be on a Princess Cruise, and so will Frail Mary. She will be
Yes.
there.
Yes, depending on who wins this season and who wins America's Favorite, I may or may not go book a cruise.
Okay.
Oh.
And also take it from me, a man who has watched 4 hours of CBS primetime reality TV in the last 26 hours. They are really pushing the Real Love Boat. And I have heard the Real Love Boat theme song about 300 times.
Oh my.
How mad is Terrence going to be when someone gets to go on a cruise that's not him?
Was he a big cruise guy? Did he talk about cruises?
Terrence
the
spent
demographic.
all season talking about how like cruises are a magical place with no racism. Like
What?
he spent a lot of time talking about this on the feeds this season.
Wow.
And I didn't understand what he was saying. And I asked some friends and they tried to explain it to me and it still didn't make any sense. Terrence is going to be so jealous that he doesn't get to go on a cruise.
Sad.
I'm so confused.
Yeah,
So am
it makes no
I.
sense.
I
It
didn't
makes
get
no
any
sense.
clarity from it. But it was like when
Mhm.
all the discussions of everything with Kyle were coming up, he would be like, I just wish we were on a cruise right now, like because this wouldn't be a problem.
Kirsten,
Wow.
there's no logic there to anything.
I
that
didn't, it's
Terrence
not
was-
my belief. It's what
Mhm.
Terrence was saying on the show. Well, I guess
Let
on the
it-
feeds, not on
Let
the
it
show.
go. Let it
Yeah.
go. Buy him a ticket onto the cruise, and then just like
No,
be done with
nobody
him.
buy Terrence a ticket to anything unless it's a ticket home.
Mhm.
a bus ticket,
A
which he
bus
probably
ticket.
wouldn't need.
Yeah, make him
Yes.
take the
Hey,
megabus.
yeah, he's
from
gotta hook up.
California.
Yes. Mary, what do you like better, cruises or trains?
Oh, that's tough. That's really,
Ooh.
really hard. I really like trains too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, if they had trains to cruise-like destinations, that might be nice. If you could put a pool on a train, I think I'm just
Pool on a
building
train
Snowpiercer.
seems-
So,
yeah,
like
yeah,
maybe
that's-
don't do that.
Mhm. Sounds a little impractical.
Maybe a hot tub.
Maybe
Yeah.
a hot tub. Yeah, that would
Mhm.
be nice. If I could have my own little train cabin, that'd be great.
Sure.
Love that.
One other segment that was in the episode was we got videos from home. Everybody got to get a video from home, and so we got to see this was this Taylor's mom and Taylor's grandmother.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they told her how they are so proud of her. They want to hug and kiss her. Grandma's got something cooking for Thanksgiving.
I am doing your favorite foods at Thanksgiving. Yum, yum, yum.
I just was like, is this code? Like, did they plan this ahead of time? Yum, yum,
Maybe.
yum.
Code for what, Kirsten?
I don't know. Maybe they're like, Monty ain't shit. Ditch him. Yum,
That's
yum,
yum,
yum.
yum,
I don't know.
It's all about the
Great.
number of yums, maybe. That's
Mhm.
it. Yeah.
Or maybe like
Mhm.
the specific holiday. Maybe if it was like a different holiday, that would mean
Let's
something
see.
different.
Thanksgiving. That's in November.
Like, you know, I
Hmm.
don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe Halloween could have meant something else.
Yeah.
Christmas.
Oh no.
Oh.
If she was in the house.
Labor
sure.
Day, Flag Day.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Monty. We see his dad. So that Monty's dad says he always amazed me. I don't know if he's been keeping up with the live feeds. Then I thought this was an emotional moment when Turner just is like hysterical when he sees, is it Megan Belmonte?
Yeah, Megan and his mom. he starts crying immediately, and I was confused for a second because they just kept saying Maddie. Been a long time since we've heard anyone refer to him as Matt, so that was a moment. But yeah, that cute video, cute. I like when people get emotional and show their vulnerable side. I mean, that's their real them. So
Yeah.
It's
Megan is so
interesting.
beautiful.
Yeah. And you know what? Like in the Big Brother house, I think it's just like fun that we like this is the most real thing we get, especially looking at DRs and just how scripted those could be. Like this was kind of nice, a nice moment. And but I don't like the Maddie thing. I just like leave the name Matt alone. Stay away, Turner. Just please. Just leave, just don't ruin the brand.
Yeah. And then finally, we got to see Brittany's husband, Steven, that we heard so much about.
The house is still standing.
House is still standing. So, okay. And he says that she accomplished her dream. She said she accomplished her dream. So, we're here for supportive spouses that are here for their partner's dream.
Hell yeah.
He's like, are you done yet? Are we ready to come home? Like, this has been a long summer. But actually, with no kids, like it was probably like just like probably a summer for like of fun for Steven.
I want to see that.
Takeout boxes everywhere. Yeah,
he had to pick up all the takeout boxes to film the video. Like, oh damn it, I have to clean. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally would also be like, yeah, I'm ready for you to come home. Close to
Yeah. Okay. And that was basically Big Brother Thursday. Anything else from the episode?
Can we talk about the outfits from tonight? Because I remember it was not long ago that you were wondering like what would Turner wear that he thinks would be like nice clothes for eviction night. And I'm pretty sure he was wearing a blanket with holes cut in it for sleeves. And so I just
was that a Snuggie?
No, I have a Snuggie, and don't you dare disrespect Snuggies, okay?
Too late, I just did.
How dare you? I will go get my Snuggie right now.
Please. Yes.
Oh man. No, it was wild. And then Monte was dressed like a Target employee, and then Taylor looked like a obviously beautiful creature, and Britney dressed up for eviction night. Respect for that too. But it was like such a weird group of three after Britney walked out. It was like, here's one beautiful glamorous person, here's one retail store employee, here's one
unhomed
dumpster
person.
Diver. Yeah.
Look, Kirsten, leave Target alone. And also, we're not surprised. Like, is anyone surprised with what Turner was wearing?
I worked at Target for 2 years, and I dressed more like Turner was there. So.
Well, sorry, I have to leave Target alone because we don't have them in Canada, okay?
Oh.
Okay. All right. Anything else from the episode? I want to get to your questions. If you have questions here in the chat, go ahead and send them in as we are closing out our final Thursday. Okay. All right. This is a question from Samuel. Wants to know, is Taylor planning on taking Monte or Turner as of now?
So part of the difficulty is that in her bid to stay, Britney has been saying how difficult Turner would be to beat in the end as part of her pitch. To my knowledge, she did not go to Taylor and be like, "Hey, I'm just saying this to Monte." I think Britney and potentially the other people in the house do believe that Turner has a lot to say to the jury. I think at this point, Taylor's still probably planning on taking Monte, but I would not be surprised if she truly thinks out both decisions if it comes to that.
Yeah, she's had moments of like, oh, am I being played? Like, what is the best move here? So I guess I feel like once she wins one of the parts of the final HOH, maybe we'll get some more concrete information of what she's thinking. But as of right now, it's seeming more.
If she wins the final 3 HOH and then cuts Monte at the final 3, oh my God.
Queen behavior.
What a moment it would be.
And it's tough too, because to choose to cut the one other black player in the game as someone who's talked so much about the mission and believes in the mission, and yet she is focused on black women in particular, but that is a big choice to make, and so it's kind of hard. I can imagine it's a tough place for her to be.
I get that, but I feel like that, like, didn't the Cookout accomplish the mission last summer of that, make it so that Taylor can do what's best for her?
Rob, we need it every summer. So I don't know. I could feel, I would imagine if I were in that situation, I would still feel that pressure. So I could imagine her also in that spot.
Yeah. Like in theory, that should be relieved a little bit because of the Cookout, but there's still 22 years of history. I don't think you can't say that one season is going to just erase all of that in people's minds.
Yeah, but I don't think she would do it unless she felt like, okay, I have the better chance to win for me, and I feel like that's like the important thing of that, that she should be able to do what's in her best interest after the Cookout, like the sacrifices that people in the Cookout made so that it would happen last summer. Like, Taylor shouldn't have to also sacrifice her game. She should, have the chance to like do what's best for her and increase her chances to win.
I mean, I think the other piece of it too, she's not cold-blooded. Like she is, and this is kind of the thing, like she's been told she's cold and heartless and all these other things along the way. And so, I mean, like maybe she's thinking about the perception of, I'm close with Monte, I'm cutting Monte. Maybe that's not what I should do. There's so many factors in there that I feel like she's more likely to take Monte, unfortunately.
And with Turner specifically, Turner is the one who took a stand in front of the whole house and said, I will not nominate Taylor and she's been mistreated and I want to save her this week. So it could also be in the back of Taylor's head, I don't want to take Turner because there's a perception that I wouldn't be here without him. And maybe that overrides anything else I've done in this game. I don't know for sure, but that could also be a problem.
Yeah.
And like Taylor has made it clear a couple times that she also doesn't, like, she's aware that it's a TV show and wants to do what's good for TV. She feels like she's mentioned like, oh, it would be fun to cut the showmance because that would be good television. But I agree with Matt and Kirsten. I think that she will probably take Monte if that's her chance. But I think that she would not be doing so in for any other reason than she probably thought she potentially could beat him at the very least. Like, I think Taylor has been very winner focused from the beginning. Almost all of her exit goodbye messages from the beginning have been like, you'll see me on finale night, I'm the queen, you'll see me when I win. And she's so focused on that I don't think that she's going to take either of them unless she thought she could beat them or had a good chance.
Okay. All right. Couple of other questions. This is one from Candy Red. Rob, will you be in the backyard on Sunday for the exit interviews? As far as I know, I do not believe that they are going to be having backyard interviews at this point. Maybe Big Brother 25. We'll see. Not this season. Hopefully, we will have interviews either on Sunday or Monday. I have not gotten a confirmation yet on what's going on there. We did send in our questions for Britney, and we will have those for you in the BB Q&A coming up on Saturday. Rachel wants to know, who will host the jury roundtable? So last season, did they have any host?
I don't think so. I think I saw people in the chat saying that it was going to be Dr. Will again. I don't know if there's any... I don't know if we've seen that that's the case or not, but that's just the only thing I've seen online.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think that they had a host for 23. Sam is saying that he doesn't think that we had one for 22. So I had thought, Tiffany would be a good person to host the roundtable, but they just had her on the show on Thursday. Didn't mention that she was going to be back on Sunday. So I suspect that, they've done it with no host. I think they'll keep going with no host.
And what does it really add? Like, I love Dr. Will as much as the next person, but like, we don't need it. We just need Jasmine there kind of moderating the conversation, moving it along, talking about baked beans and the like. And
yeah, Jasmine's great at
butter beans, along. Matt, not baked beans.
I don't know what the baked beans, butter beans, like butter bean, a box. I don't know. I'll go with whatever they do. But yeah, like Dr. Will could stay at home.
Yeah. Fine.
But he's the neighbor. He's the BB neighbor.
Yeah.
He lives next door.
Yeah.
He's so accessible.
I'm sure he has not watched one episode of this
Not a
entire season.
chance,
Does not
not
know
a
who any of
chance.
these people are. I think they're fine.
I have to believe that that's what it is like most years when he does the round table.
I don't know. I feel like in the past, like you see him like tweet a thing or two and like keep up with it. I don't think we've seen anything for Big Brother 24.
True enough.
Okay.
Good for him.
All right. Anything else from Big Brother tonight before we head into the final weekend of BB24? All right.
Well, yeah, I just want to say I mean, we all love Taylor, but like I just love how much like there's this mission of Black representation and Black women representation in this game that is front and center, and I like that it's actually making the show and something that people could hear and see, like, oh, this is actually a thing that matters. Like there's a world where maybe we wouldn't have stressed as much as we have, and so I appreciate that, and I hope that it pays off, but cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, we'll see. I know the expectations are, very high for what's going to happen this weekend. I do worry if Taylor doesn't pull it out, what this all looks like. But
don't put it into the universe, Rob. Take it back.
I'm just saying, I don't even know. Do we come on? It's like it's
you
be
full blanket.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about where we are at going into the weekend. Okay. It's been a busy week here on Rob as a Podcast. Big Brother is coming to its conclusion. Survivor has started. Amazing Race has started. We're doing a big push for subscribers to Rob has a Podcast. And so to try to get the word out and raise some money for a good cause, in September, when you are a new subscriber to Rob as a Podcast, I'm going to donate $2 to the Boys and Girls Club of America for each new subscriber we add here in the month of September. So between now and the end of the month, when you become a subscriber of Rob's Podcast, go to robhasawebsite.com/subscribe. Subscribe to the Rob as a Podcast feed on as many devices as you want. We'll donate $2 for each subscriber that we add to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Coming up, here's the home stretch for Big Brother. I'll zoom in on this for you. Okay. Tomorrow morning, Taryn is going to have for you on September 23rd, the Monte Final 3 preview. Then after the episode, we'll be together for the recap of the recap at 9:15 p.m. Eastern. Then Taryn will have the Turner game recap at 11 a.m. Eastern time, followed by the patron BB Q&A. And then we'll be back together one last time for the BB24 finale recap after it's all said and done Sunday night. Of course, there's so much going on here on Rob's Podcast for Survivor. I'm not going to go through all the different Survivor shows, but if you subscribe to our Survivor podcast feed, you will be hearing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different Survivor podcasts this week. You don't have to listen to every single one of them, but you could.
Could you? Is there enough time in the world?
It's possible. I mean, somebody might. Okay. Pick and choose, your favorite ones. Okay. It's like a buffet. We're going to put out all the food and you come in and, pick out what you want. Yum, yum, yum. Okay.
Yum, yum, yum.
All right. Then the Amazing Race is back. Okay.
Woo.
Mary, did you catch the Amazing Race premiere?
I did. I stayed up late. I got sleepy, but it was it was very fun. Love the Amazing Race.
Yes.
Yeah, it's turned into my new jealousy show, though. Like the whole time, I'm just like, I want to do that. I could do that.
Yes, because is a log flume like a cruise for you?
Oh, log flume, you might even say, is better than a cruise. Open air cruise.
Open air cruise. Okay.
Try it.
Myself, Mike Bloom, Jessica Leese recapped the Amazing Race 34 premiere. Talked about the scramble, why we didn't really love it. Check that out in our Amazing Race recap. And then I talked to the first team eliminated from the Amazing Race. No non-elimination legs, they say. So we talked to the first team eliminated from the Amazing Race up at robisawebsite.com. Then, okay. Oh, Kirsten, what's happening over on the Mess Magnets?
Yeah, so this week, Tori from the Ready to Be Petty pod subbed in for Sasha, who's away at work, and we broke down the Adam Levine drama. We talked about a Kardashian lawsuit. We talked about some quick bites, and we had a great anonymous. So people should definitely check that out because we're really close to unlocking merch also.
Okay. All right. Check that out over on Mess Magnets. And then Mary, the Love is Blind cast got back together.
They got back together before they all fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, if you watched Love is Blind season 1 or 2, you'll know the After the Altar special is really what the whole show is about. That's when you get to see everything after the I do's and I don'ts. So, Asia and I got to recap the 3-episode special, and we had a lot of fun talking about all of that and hypothesizing some of the reasons for maybe some of the breakups.
Okay, check that out after you watch the Love is Blind. And then Matt, the king of Survivor trivia, Seeds baby, was on Pod Friends.
Yes, the seed is strong. And Jordan Kalish, great conversation with him. A lot of fun. Apparently his best joke on a podcast ever was on this last Pod Friends. And Stephen Fishback is on the next episode of Pod Friends, the season finale. So fantastic interviewee. And I'm excited for this Survivor theme that's going on Pod Friends.
Okay. All right. Listen to Jordan Kalish talk about everything over on Pod Friends. Okay. And of course, we've got so much stuff going on for you over on Patreon, including that I'm inviting the patrons to join us when I talk to survivors on Thursday live. Today, we talked to Zach Wertenberger. If you were a patron, you could be there live to ask your questions. Just one of the many benefits you get for being a part of this special reality TV community we like to call Robin's Podcast Patron. Go to robinswebsite.com/patron. Okay. And I told you, robinswebsite.com/subscribe. Okay. We did it. Another Thursday in the books. Matt, we know the wrestling wrap up is back. Dominic and I were catching up. We're so far behind. We're only catching up on Raw tonight. What's coming up? What's coming up this weekend?
We're talking about AEW. I was at AEW, All Elite Wrestling Grand Slam last night. The one and only Ari Ferrari was also there. And we'll be talking about it this weekend on the Wrestling Wrap Up, robinswebsite.com/wrestling feed. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We don't talk about AEW all the time. So we're going to dive in, take a break from the dungeons and BDSM that's happening in WWE and change. You gotta take a break from that once in a while. Let the ropes loose.
Okay. All right. Matt, anything else coming up for you?
I mentioned Pod Friends with Steven, so robhasawebsite.com/podfriends. And that's what I have going on. Wrestling Wrap Up, Pod Friends. I had the finale of Survivor Philadelphia made by Alex Gardner. Shout out to him. And so that's on YouTube if people want to see me doing Survivor, which you can watch main Survivor or you can watch YouTube Survivor if you can't have enough Survivor in your life.
And main Survivor is 1 hour a week.
Yeah. Just take
it was 2 hours this week.
Well, I mean,
and 18 hours of podcasts.
Yes. You never know. Yeah, if you get through all of the podcasts and the show itself, then definitely check out Survivor Philadelphia Head versus Heart. It's a lot of fun, from what I hear, at least.
All right. Thank you so much, Matt. Great to have you back here with us for the last Thursday of Big Brother. Mary, what's coming up for you?
Well, besides the Love is Blind podcast we talked about, season 3 will be coming out in just under a month. So come back around to that pretty soon. Other than that, you can check out everything else I'm doing over at Frail Mary on Twitter. Right now, I've been reading a lot of fan fiction. So send me your recommendations. Always looking for more.
What kind of fan fiction are you reading?
Right now, I'm rereading one about a mob boss. And that one's really fun. So
I love we've already talked about.
Yeah, it's great. Look, it's the fall. It's becoming indoor season. It's time for more books.
Okay. All right. Mary, great having you here with us on the recap once again. And then Kirsten, what's coming up for you?
Yes, we already talked about mess magnets. If people want to hear just the Adam Levine portion of that podcast, it has been uploaded to the Rob Has a Podcast YouTube for easy viewing. So definitely go check that out. Lindsay Wilson and I are talking about Tuca and Birdie now over on BoJack Horsepod, so people can check that out. And you can follow me everywhere at Kirsten Said What. And if you want to click on my pinned tweet, I'm running a 5K for breast cancer research and would love any donations if people have spare cash.
Awesome. Okay. Well, Kirsten, great to have you here with us tonight. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us all season long for these Thursday eviction shows. I'll be back tomorrow night for a recap of the recap, and then check out everything else we have going on at robhasawebsite.com. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.